And now, ladies and gentlemen, Tony LoBianco!
Thank you so much. We know that we have a huge fight ahead of us in winning back our country, basically, not only here in Queens, but all over our world and our country. We are losing fast. We have many, many opportunities before us. We've had them before, and we failed to win. This time, we must win in 2014. Forget about 16. We'll handle 16 when we get there, but the key point is here, 2014. You know, I was talking to Peter King just earlier, and we had an election in New York City, as you might remember, and only 24% of the population voted. Can you imagine that? How could we not win? It means that we did not vote. We've had Republican mayors before, so where were we? We have to get out there and do a job. We have to do a job for this 2014. Now, after that serious talk, I'm going to tell you a little story. All of my jokes and so on have a point. Now, I was working in my garden, you know, cutting the hedges and mowing the lawn, and my next door neighbors came over with their daughter. My liberal democratic next door neighbors came over with their daughter, and they told me how wonderful she was doing in school and what marks she received, the awards she got, and I said, that is just wonderful. Tell me, to the young lady, I said, what do you want to be when you grow up? She said, I want to be the President of the United States. Well, of course, her family was beaming, and I said, that is wonderful. Now, tell me, what would the first thing you do as President of the United States? And she said, well, the first thing I would do is I would go down to the corner where all those men are sitting around near the bodega not doing anything, and I would give them each money to buy food, money to pay rent, and maybe sometimes be able to buy a home. Again, the family was just beaming. I said, that's wonderful, but you know, you don't have to be President of the United States to do that. I said, all you have to do, you see I'm here in the garden, I'm mowing my lawn, cutting the hedges, and pulling some weeds out, so why don't you do that? And I'll give you $50, and then you go down to the corner and give that money that you earned to all those people sitting near the bodega. Yes, well, she thought for a moment, and she said, well, why don't you go down there, get those men to cut your lawns and your hedges, and give them the $50 yourself? I said, welcome to the Republican Party. Her mother and father are still not talking to me. You know, Abe Lincoln was rumored to say, you cannot help the poor by destroying the rich. You cannot strengthen the weak by weakening the strong. You cannot bring about prosperity by discouraging the thrift. You cannot lift the wage earner up by pulling the wage payer down. You cannot further the brotherhood of man by inciting class hatred. And you cannot build character and courage by taking away people's initiative and independence. You know, the idea of raising the taxes on the rich who create businesses that employ people and put extraordinary regulations that prevent them from expanding so they can create more jobs, it's counterproductive. You know, and when you tax businesses, well, they will raise the price of their product and pass along that tax to you, the consumer. So who are you taxing? We all know that the Keystone Pipeline is a no-brainer, and the president should sign off on that immediately. And if the environment is his reason not to do it, his own research reported that it is safer to the environment than having trains and trucks transporting the oil. But it's also less costly. You know, for a country who has a vast unemployment problem, for nearly 50 million people on food stamps, and a massive amount of Americans working only part-time, before talking about illegal immigration, you must close the borders, and not with a fence that you can climb over or under. I mean, talking about forgiving those people who have broken our laws, droves more are coming in the meantime, taking whatever jobs there are. That is, Mr. President, like telling the enemy you are fighting in a war the date you are retreating. You know, our 16th president, Abraham Lincoln, said, "We, the people, are the rightful masters of our Congress and our courts, and we will not overthrow the Constitution, but overthrow those men who pervert the Constitution." I would just like to list a few of our core values for our party. And you tell me, okay, if you agree. Illegal aliens are here illegally. Sounds right? Pro-domestic employment is indispensable. A strong military is essential. Special interests must be eliminated. The Second Amendment, gun ownership is sacred. Government must be downsized. The national budget must be balanced. Deficit spending must end. Bailout and stimulus plans are illegal. Reducing personal income taxes is a must. Reducing business income taxes is mandatory. Political offices must be available to average citizens. Intrusive government must be stopped. English as our only core language is required, and traditional family values encouraged. Now, do we agree with all that? If we do, I must tell you, I just rattled off the Tea Party's platform. So those of you who might have had reservations about the Tea Party and characterize them as something they're not, those what I just rattled off is the Tea Party, which is very close, obviously, to your feelings. So just let's not cannibalize our party. We are one and the same principles. So we have to stick together to win. We cannot ignore one half of the party and think we can win. Amen. Amen. Okay. Another thing that I do say in my play, The Little Flower, and that I quote from Benjamin Franklin, democracy is two wolves and a lamb voting on what to have for lunch. Liberty is a well-armed lamb contesting the vote. And now I shall introduce some people.